Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's doing what I want it to do now. Um, shit. Okay. Yeah, now you guys have something to look at. So that's good. That's that's important. Fucking sips tea. That's all I see in the fucking chat. Anyway, what's up, guys? Uh, thought of a few more things, and I'm thoroughly upset with myself for realizing I didn't talk about one of these things. One of my coworkers died, and I didn't talk about that, which amazes me. But yeah, I, I don't know why I didn't talk about it. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Feels weird knowing that I didn't talk about it because I went through and rewatched it, and I realized I didn't. I guess it's one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, everybody knows, but no, nobody fucking knows that shit. Um, but yeah, my coworker died. Fuck, just 2 months ago. Hold up, let me look up his obituary. Okay, almost 2 months ago. Yeah, it was September 1st. And interestingly, I still have not the slightest fucking clue how he died, which sucks ass. I know I know when he died. I know he passed in his sleep, but I have not been told the reason he died. Yeah. His family, he talked about it whenever he was still amongst us. His family is very secretive about what goes on, and they held his private funeral September 8th, I think it was. Didn't tell anybody. I don't even think his girlfriend, who is pregnant with his kid, by the way, uh, was invited to that ceremony because, they weren't married, so she legally had no right over him, which is bullshit. "23, dude. Just 23. Would have been his second kid. It's wild to me that you can have kids that young. It's fucking insane. But in any case, if you haven't noticed, it is late as fuck right now. I'm not sure why I can't go to sleep, but yeah, figured I'd look for a job because I'm getting sick of mine. For a little bit of context, I work at a Chick-fil-A, and we are supposed to be the happiest go lucky motherfuckers on the planet. And it's supposed to be very Christian based. It's not. I have, I think, 8 different coworkers who are gay, 2 of which are getting married to each other. More power to them. I don't give a fuck what they do. I don't care. But it's kind of ironic to hear, like, oh yeah, this is such a Christian based restaurant. No, it's not. That one person serving you your drink is trying to be trans right now. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't really care. It's just kind of a funny irony to it all. And my friend who passed away was actually like a hardcore addict. He was in remission, I think. And he didn't have his license because he got caught drunk driving, but he was like the greatest person to work there, in my opinion. He got fired for some under the table bullshit. Dev continues to sip on his tea. But yeah, I'm getting sick of it. To put it simply, it just feels like you're acting all the time. Which, I have no problem with acting. I just hate acting and then having to take others' responsibilities without actually being paid for it. Because, and I'm kind of just talking without much base here. Um, at some point in August, they held fucking interviews to become a trainer. And I signed up to one and went. And they basically told me they couldn't trust me to train people. Funnily enough, I've trained about 8 people since that conversation. It's either 8 or 7, I can't remember. And what I'm basically seeing is they don't want to pay me to do their work, is what it is at the end of the day. Which is total bullshit, but you know, I see it for what it is. No. Oh, well, can't do that job. Um, a delivery driver for Amazon. I've not heard anything good out of Amazon, actually. Uh, like, I hear the pay is great, but it becomes quickly not great. My cousin worked there, actually, for a short amount of time. I say short amount of time, but it was probably around like 6 months. Uh, and the same thing that has happened to me now that I've worked here at Chick-fil-A for about a little over a year happened to them. And plus, the hours are just horrible. Just absolutely horrible. You know, fucking, they catch you not breathing, or they catch you taking a longer breath than you should, and they'd be on your ass, is basically how she described it. But, that wasn't her worst job, now I think about it. Her worst job was, at a McDonald's. I think she would have been, God, fuck, probably like 17 at the time. And they didn't hire her as a manager. You know, she's 17. But the manager didn't show up for work. And neither did half of the fucking crew. The manager shows up like maybe an hour later. But either way, nobody was either A, on time, or B, they just didn't come. So she's sitting here trying to operate uh, shit in the bag to cook. And, you know, to fucking take orders for drive through and front counter. And at some point, she just fucking has enough. This dude is like fucking complaining, "Where's I need to take an order and you guys are just ignoring me," and yada yada yada. And she's clearly running back and forth, window to window. So this is taking place in a shitty ghetto ass town, so you know people just get pissed off easy for no good reason. And she jumps onto one of the tables in the McDonald's and screams at everybody to get the fuck out. The store is closed. And it's the funniest shit. It is the funniest shit to hear her retell this because she actually like hops up out of her chair at this point in the story and just goes ham on anybody trying to fucking argue back with her. She shuts down the drive-through, tells people to piss off, locks the door, and then the manager pulls up like an hour later and is like, "Why is the store closed?" And she's like, "Nobody was here and neither were you." And he's like, "You know what? Fair enough." I do a horrible retelling of that story, but it is, if you think some of the shit I've done is cool, because I don't know if I've even gotten into that on this channel, because I've had shit happen to me. I find her cooler than some of the stories I've told, but yeah, that's how one of my cousins sat up on a fucking table, told everybody to get the fuck out, and shut down a McDonald's. um, and since I'm on the topic of interesting stories about me and my family, let me tell one of my favorite ones because I can't remember if I've ever told it. It is, God, I don't know how old I would have, what year it would have been. Sorry, let me do some quick math. I am 19 right now, and the summer where I would have been 12 would have been, fuck, how long ago? God damn, hold up. Let me pull out a calculator because I'm a dumb bitch. 20, 22 minus 7. 2015. It would have been 2015. Okay. Summer of 2015. Right. Or the summer of 2016. I don't know how time works. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm 12. I'm at the summer camp. And everybody's fucking around in the pool. As you do in the middle of summer. And at the summer camp, only guys could go in when it was guys' turn, and then girls could go in whenever it was girls' turn. And funnily enough, there was always a constant competition of trying to dunk each other. That's what dudes do. We fight. We do dumb bullshit. And there was this one male counselor, big dude. I think he was like 6'3" or something. I I think he weighed 300 pounds, but it might have been like 285 or something. And he would dunk everybody. He was the big man. He was like the challenge. You would try to climb on top of him and stay on without him dunking you first. And I decided I was going to try to do the most ultimate challenge about this and dunk him. So I swim under him. It takes me about 4 attempts to do this. And on we'll say the fourth attempt, I am able to get him up off the ground in the pool. And I lift this man up and pull him over my shoulders and fall backwards and dunk him completely. Scares the shit out of this man. He's probably like 36, and this 12-year-old kid just picked him up and his face turned red as he came up out of the water, but he wasn't sure what to do. He just told me to get away from him, and I was like, all right, you know what, worth it, we're good. He I don't think he ever even mentioned it again. I don't think he cared past the point of it happening and it scaring the shit out of him, because you don't expect that. You're used to fucking dunking these children, having fun. And sorry, I'm reading. Did you guys know that on Rover you can get paid $60 to watch? It's $60 an hour to watch pets, and you earn the most by having the animals stay the night in your house. I don't know. That's wild to me. But anyway, so I do that. You know, I feel like the big man, top OG, as fucking Andrew Tate would put it. And you know, I feel like the tough shit. I do. Next day comes along. At this point, it would have been the girl's turn to go swim in the pool because you alternated days. The day you didn't get to go swim in the pool, you would go around the camp and you would do minor activities. I was a loner, so I was kind of just walking around doing whatever. And I get done with some of the activities and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back to the cabin. And this was the one year they decided, let's put all of them into separate cabins in groups of 4 or 5, just depended. And I was like, yeah, I saw my cabin mates go back, so maybe, you know, I'll go hang out with them, actually fucking learn their names. That might be nice. They were not going to talk to me, to put it simply. Uh, in in the cabin there was a bunk bed, and you know it had a wooden frame like bunk beds sometimes do. But because we're in West Virginia, or not West Virginia, regular Virginia, sorry, they had duct taped part of the post back to the bunk bed to keep it from, you know, just having a chipped look. My cabin mates had ripped the duct taped part off and wrapped the duct tape around it to make it like a fucking shank, and they sharpened it. To this day, I have no idea how they sharpened it. But they decided they were going to try to stab me when I came back, or maybe they were just trying to scare me. I'm not sure. And the reason I tell the counselor story is because I think it was one of 3 reasons that they tried to do this. One, they found out my great uncle was the one running the camp, or found out that we were related. They found out I had a Hispanic last name, or they were pissed off about the counselor bit. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But in any case, I come back to the cabin. The lights are off. I'm like, that's weird. I thought I saw them go in here. They are waiting for me on top of the bunk beds to the side. And when I, you know, think that in my head, you know, where are they at? All the lights are off. I thought I saw them go in here. I hear them plop down onto the floor, start coming at me. And I turn on some like X Games mode shit in my brain, and I dodged the first 2 kids like effortlessly with little to no issue. No, there was no issue. It just came to me flawlessly. And I grab the kid in the back who's got the shank. I take my hand around his and I push it up against his throat and drag him back into the darkness. And I stop whenever I hit a sink because whenever you walked into the cabins, there would be a sink right right there. That was where you would brush your teeth and shit. And I hit the door on the sink. It hit my back. And this kid's freaking the fuck out. So are his friends. And the funniest shit. For whatever reason, I decided to laugh like the Joker. I had watched a Batman series before going there. I usually, up until recently, I didn't tell people this detail because I thought it was weird as shit. It still is. But now that I'm older, I just don't care. I started trying to imitate a joke or laugh, but after like maybe 10 to 15 seconds, I let him go. Sprints away. Sprints away. Freaking out. And they turn the lights on. I'm just sitting there on the floor with a fucking little wooden shank. And they're like, get out. I can't remember the exact words. It was something like that. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. That's okay. And I found this little, I think it was like a cog or something. And I was super, super nerdy ass kid. I was like, yeah, the ring gives me power. That's what I was thinking. I'll never lose this. I'll never lose it. Just for a little bit of clarification, I lost it 2 days later. It was fucking gone so quickly. And but I sit there and I rotate the ring on my ring finger, and it starts raining. And it is at this point that the parental supervision that should have been watching me and my cabin mates comes back. I sat out in the rain for like 45 minutes. 45 to an hour, I'm not sure. But he comes back and he's like, dude, what are you doing out in the rain? And I was like, oh, they kicked me out. And he goes back in, they explain it to him, and he's like, all right, get your stuff. We're just going to move you from to a different cabin. It's like, okay. I can't remember which cabin I got moved to because it was like the last couple of days. So I either got moved back to the gray house, to the little cabin with the troubled kids, or the African kids. And you think there would be like a distinct difference, but there really wasn't. I literally only went back there to sleep. I did not speak to any of them. But I want to say it was the gray house, but I'm not sure. And the gray house was basically a large house that had been built uh, probably about 10 years beforehand, where they would usually stuff every single kid into. So, yeah. But that's the story about how I almost got shanked at a Christian youth camp. Sorry, I dragged that out for a little bit. I ended up losing that ring somewhere in the or the cog, whatever you want to call it, somewhere in the pews uh, during the last service. I dropped it. Fucking go figure, you know. But yeah, I was a super nerdy kid. I was like, oh yeah, it's like my ring of power, and it it wasn't. Sorry, I'm still here. I'm just typing in some information. Um, I'll do that shit later. What's another story I can bring about? How about another one about my cousin, actually, in which they said they basically bullied the bully. I can't tell if that's me. It says one viewer, but I've got it opened up on my end, so I'm not sure if that's just me that I'm talking to. It's fine if it is, but I wish it would show who's watching. Oh well. Um, there's actually a couple stories where she bullies a bully. Fuck it, I'll talk about the one where she throws a dad. There's this one guy. He's like a consistent character in her stories, and he was. I think he was poking her. That's what it was that day. I think this is like middle school or high school, and he's poking. He's poking. He's poking. And at some point, she fucking has enough. She's like, dude, if you do that one more time, I am going to beat the shit out of you. And he does it again, and she grips the underside of the chair, or the underside of the table. We'll say the underside of the table. I'm not sure what kind of desk it was. I'm just imagining it as one of those desks where the chair is connected and the desk is connected. She didn't give a proper description. She was just like, I grabbed the underside, I grabbed the overside, and I fucking chucked it across the fucking classroom. And the teacher is just dumbfounded. They knew Celine. Fuck, sorry, name drop. Fuck. They knew my cousin wouldn't do that shit. Um, unless they were provoked, because this kind of situation had happened, and he was, but he was still a teacher. He still had to say shit. He was like, "Why did you do that?" And she responds in the greatest way possible. It was either I threw that desk or I threw him. I don't know. I consider it pretty badass in my opinion. Yeah, sorry. That I'm horrible at giving details for stories that aren't mine. That I hate looking for a job. You see all this shit, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I'll do that. God, that fucking pay is ass. Like, you read through the job highlights and the qualifications, and like half of them don't even matter. Like this one for order picker packer for Hanes brand. You need to be able to read, write, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. You need to show up. Good high, good hand-eye coordination. Must be able to use a wrist mount scanner effectively. High level of accuracy and attention to detail. Ability to adapt to changing procedures, policies. Must be able to qualify applicants. Like, the bar seems to be so low. It's like wild to me. I thought it was going to be more stupid than that because, signing on with Chick-fil-A, it was like, team member must be able to do this, 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 and this. And I have not done that, and that, nor have I seen anyone do this, this, and that since I've started working. Examples of this, and that are be able to communicate effectively with team members and guests. No. What you actually do is you go tell somebody else to do it for you. that is that is literally the entire process. Even if you're a manager, because I had that happen to me, where it was this one lady. She had paid for she had paid for her order through the mobile app, and she gets there and she wants to add a granola parfait. It'll be on her rewards. It should have worked perfectly fine, but her payment through her card wasn't going through on the app for whatever reason. It'll do that sometimes. At least that's what I was told. The original bit before that was that she just needed to pay for the granola parfait, and I was like, oh, that's fucking weird. It's $16.44 for a $4 item. So I run around and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck it is. Turns out she had been told something completely different. I had been told something completely different. And basically, the system had screwed up, still charged her for the rest of her food, but the granola parfait came off. But she had to then pay again for her food. And I had to tell her she could not get her food unless she paid twice because it was going to send her a refund in the next day or so for the first order. Also, she had her bank statement pulled up. That's how I know she paid for it. And that entire ordeal was like 15 minutes long. So the communicating effectively bullshit is like, it's not valid. registered nurse, CDO, regional truck driver, assistant manager for sheets, care pal. What in the fuck? Maintenance tech, obviously can't do that. Truck driver, regional driver, McDonald's maintenance. Regional driver, assistant manager, pet sitter again. Assistant manager, packer, CNA, RN, merchandising sales associate for Tractor Supply. If there's, you know, an actual person besides me just watching this shit, yeah, feel free to comment a job where you're able to move, because that's what I want to do. I want to travel and kind of show off the world while just living on the road. I'd be fine living in a van as long as I can get a stable internet connection or phone connection, whatever. I don't care. God, I need to go back to college. I need to go back to college. I need to go to college. I got like halfway through the process at one point and just fucking gave up because I'm a fucking fool. Also, if you don't like cuss words, just go away. Simple. Because I'm gonna cuss. It's that simple. Alright. I'm not seeing hot shit here. So I guess I'll just end it there. I just don't have... Yeah, I don't have anything else. So, yeah, have a good one. Bye. Gotta come up with a better catchphrase than, bye. Have a good one.